What are robots going to do in the future? AI Robotics Entering Era. Written by Brian D. The article was posted in bloggertown.com community, in science and technology categories. Artificial intelligence has not finished developing. Until now, it has mainly affected industry, where tasks once assigned to workers were automated, either because machines are faster or because they take the risk for workers. Robotics in entering new sectors. A recent example, noted by the American specialist magazine Wire, shows that sent robots to contaminated parts dangerous for humans in the Fukushima nuclear power plant. They received the delicate task of cleaning up and finding the radioactive fuel lost in the nuclear power plant since the disaster that occurred in 2011. Medical technology in the sites. Artificial intelligence has not finished developing. Until now, it has mainly affected industry, where tasks once assigned to workers were automated, either because machines are faster or because they take the risk for workers. A recent example, noted by the American specialist magazine Wire, shows that robots were sent to contaminated parts dangerous for humans in the Fukushima nuclear power plant. They have been given the delicate task of cleaning up and finding the radioactive fuel lost in the nuclear power plant, since the disaster that occurred in 2011. Medical technology in the sites. The Pictet Robotics Fund manager, Peter Lingen, notes that there has been an inflection point with more advanced robots in recent years, although these had been used for a long time. An entire segment has grown. There has been a shift from traditional manufacturing to a model where smaller factories now have access to more miniature, easier to handle robots. Industries like pharmaceuticals and business processes have seen the advent of automation. The robotics market has grown significantly. A study by the consultancy firm Boston Consulting Group indicates that medical technology has established itself on the stock market over the past 4 years and has generated significant returns for shareholders. But analysts believe the industry hasn't entirely migrated to more automation yet, especially the medical segment. More and more surgical robot manufacturers want to launch their systems this year and into 2020, and we believe this could garner attention and lead to adoption for an underpenetrated market, said Jason McGorman, an analyst specializing in healthcare at Bloomberg Intelligence. The penetration of the general U.S. surgery market is only 20%. Besides, there are approximately 1 to 2 million annual procedures outside the United States. The spectrum of surgery robot startups activity spans the entire human body. They are supported by investors like Bill Gates through Vicarious Surgical, indicating that robotics still has a lot of room for it. Develop in the years to come. The competition is only beginning to organize in this segment, where Intuitive Surgical has succeeded in establishing itself in the fields of gynecology and general surgery, creating a market of $4 billion for its robots, says Jason M.C. Gorman. Robotic surgery unlocks a new era of medicine. The analyst notes that the penetration of robotic systems in the field of general surgery in the United States was less than 20% in 2018, up from 14% in the previous year and 5% in 2013. Robotics can help obese patients and treat more complex cases of hernias, he says. He notes that in the United States, of the 1.2 million annual procedures for hernia reduction, a small part is starting to be treated with robotics. Besides, the analyst points out that internationally, minimally invasive surgery and surgical robotics are underutilized compared to the United States. China, he said, could be an essential catalyst for the use of surgical robotics. Robotics is also inviting itself into the fields of radiotherapy. Robotics will limit the damage caused to patients by reducing the pressure on the tissues, he said. The autonomous car, another strategic issue. The autonomous vehicle is every other improvement section for robotics. For 4 years, the improvement of the driverless vehicle has been incredible. Today, we see autonomous cars, and it begins out with inside the lengthy term. Companies like Tesla or Alphabet are very superior with inside the discipline of the autonomous vehicle, whose improvement is going hand in hand with that of the electric vehicle, the precursor of the autonomous vehicle, notes Peter Lingen. Alphabet, for example, counts 10 million miles with its autonomous cars, However, in simulation, the determinant rises at 10 billion miles, which suggests the potential. But he admits that it's going to take nonetheless time for autonomous cars to turn out to be mainstream. The key role of semiconductors. Peter Lingen notes that the development of robotics is accompanied by increased demand for semiconductors. The sector is very cyclical, but over the long term, the theme remains intact. The automotive sector and industry are consumers and demand increases over the years, he notes. Semiconductors are entering new markets. With the development of robotics in the health sector, and that of the autonomous car. Simulations, data exploitation, more efficient use of software, more collaborative robots promise rapid growth in the coming years, and semiconductors are well positioned to take advantage of it. Thank you for listening to BloggerTown.com community.